Another place where we could use ratios would be for driving distances. So the distance between Chicago, Illinois, and Albany, New York is about 816 miles. On the map, the driving distance between those two cities is 1.4 inches. So that's giving us a scale. We just have it in very large terms, and we can reduce it down so that it's in a unit ratio, and then we could be able to use that ratio for other problems. And that's what it's asking us to do. Use this ratio to determine how far it is from Chicago to St. Louis if the distance on the map between those two cities is 0.5 inches. So again, if you've got a lot of information, you can, and it's saying ratio for sure, you can do miles. We know we have miles, and we know we have inches. And so we're going to do two ratios. One will be Chicago to Albany, and the other will be Chicago to St. Louis. Okay, so Chicago to Albany is 816 miles, and that on the map is 1.4 inches. And then we're using that same ratio because it's the same map, and map makers always use the same ratio for the entire map, so we can use the same scale. And they're saying Chicago to Illinois, or to St. Louis, is 0.5 inches. So I don't have miles, but I have inches, so I'll put in the denominator that 0.5, and then x in the numerator because I don't know how many miles, and that's what I'm trying to find. So it looks like I've used most of the information that was given to me, and it makes sense because I'm thinking about a map scale and miles to inches. Now I want to look at how can I simplify this, and it looks like if I just multiply both sides by that 1.4 times 0.5, that'll help me simplify. So I'll put that on the right, 1.4 times 0.5, and think of it as being over 1. Multiplying here, also multiplying here, 1.4 times 0.5, whole thing over 1. And on the left, it looks like the 1.4s are going to reduce. On the right, the 0.5s will reduce. And the next thing I want to do is write out what I have left. So it's on the left, I have 0.5 times times 816 equals, on the right I have 1.4 and I have x, so I'm going to put them in that order, 1.4x. Again, I want to solve for x, but first I think I might just multiply that 0.5 times 816, and I get 408 equals 1.4x. Now, just like in the last problem, I have a number multiplied by x, and I want the x by itself, so I have to undo that multiply. So I'm going to divide both sides by that 1.4. And when I do that, the 1.4s reduce on the right and give me a 1, so it's 1 times x. And the 408, which is still sitting on my calculator, divide that by 1.4, and I have 291, let's see. So 291.42. And the next digit's an 8, so I'm going to change that to a 3. And that equals x, or you can flip it over and it's x equals 291.43. And when I look back at my problem, it says that x is miles because it's in the numerator and I put all the miles in the numerator. So the 291.43 is miles. And I also wrote Chicago to St. Louis up above, so I know it's 291.43 miles from Chicago to St. Louis. And that's using map scales to help you figure out the distance between two cities.